Why hello and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I am your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield, and this is another video on choosing your path effectively, leveling effectively. About a year ago, I made a video on this and you guys loved it. You might have saw my little joke at the beginning. I know that you guys really enjoyed this. I saw it and I'm like, wow, 21,000 views. All right, you guys want more of that content, so we're doing more of that. I actually have two other videos I've already done with leveling that was an updated version, one from 1 to 25, one from 25 to 50, I believe. So this will be part 3, and it'll be choosing your leveling locations effectively again. Now, there's a great resource on the LOTRO wiki that helps show you stuff, but I'm going to give you some knowledge of a player who's been in the game since the very beginning of where you really should aim for. And a big one that I can't stress enough, guys. Make sure you follow the chapters in the books, okay? That's so important. All right, so let's open your quest thing real quick here and look at this first and realize what is a chapter, what is a thing. So I'm gonna say show completed. It's gonna load for a second. We'll let it load while I talk. I have a lot of completed quests here. So anything that says epilogue, epic, volume, those are all the main stories. Later on, they changed their names a little bit, like the Black Book of Mordor, the Gundabad. If it says Gundabad dash, it's the, there's a couple different ones for Gundabad. The different locations. These are the regular locations, but I believe it's the Durin missions. It's again Mordor. So the Black Book of Mordor, again, there's usually numbers. They're usually numbered things on them, so that's the easiest way to kind of know what's going on, to find things if you can't find them, right? That's the big one, right? It's like, where do you start, right? Again, when you get an epilogue story, any of those, follow them. They will help guide you through locations as you go to each town, depending on where you are. Again, if you ever watch my LOTRO Tale series where I do voiceovers, we do this in LOTRO Tale. At a certain point, you want to just follow the main story. If you're someone that just wants to level and you're not there to do every single quest and be a completionist, right? You just want to get through and level up. You need to think about the main thing of you follow that main story, but the main story, if you just do that, it won't be enough experience. So every time it leads you to a new settlement or location, right, along the path of the story, usually pick up the quests that are there, do the quests in that area for them, turn those quests in, and then you continue the story, right? It's a very simple process once you realize how it works. Again, for a newer player, it might be a little daunting, so that's why you're here for this video, right? So that's what I'm gonna try to help walk you through right now. But I want to just give you that basis. And again, you can always click completed quests, and also with the quest log, another thing that's very helpful is these buttons on top, these filters. I have a video on this in the past, but basically what you can do is you can just go up here and click them, and when they're grayed out, they won't show up. So if I click all these off, there will be no quests on my thing. Okay, there's no quest. So now I can click show only solo quests, all right? Well, what if I want to click only show all epic quests? Boom. And then I turn off solo. Look at that. So these are all my quests that are epics, which are the ones that are going to be your main prologue stories. Now, I'm max level, so I don't need to worry about this as leveling, but for you, if you were following the Black Book of Mordor, like I was just talking about, the Ballad of Bingo Boffin, again, that is kind of like an epic. It's not really one that you'll follow through. The Blood of Azog, it's one of the northern ones. Before the Shadow, this is the prologue story if you have the expansion Before the Shadow, which is a low-level series, which we will do here later on this character, probably in a LOTRO adventure. Or a LOTRO Tale, I think we went over it too. The Legacy of Durin. This is the chapter up in the north. Right now, it's a more recent one. That's why it's not grayed out for me, because I'm the level difference. Leveling is what matters. A big thing you need to know, all right, to be choosing your leveling path effectively, you guys, is realize that these color schemes that you're looking at right here matter. So they'll always say the level in the little caption in front of whatever the title is. So like this is little caption level 120. I'm sorry, I can't blow this up for you. But this one that's green is caption little level 134. The reason it's green is because it's lower level. Now, those different colors do matter. So if it's white, it's on level. Green, the blue, it gets down to something else, and then it's gray. That means it's below you, it's below you, it's below you. If it's yellow, orange, or red, that means it's higher level. So yellow is usually like 2 levels above you, orange is like 3 or 4, and red is usually like 6, 7 levels above you. If it's like a dark purple, that means it's like 8, 9 levels above you. You really shouldn't be doing it. You should not be at that point on the chapter quest yet, or the quest you're doing. You need to find another location. So those are the things you have to keep in your mind as I tell you this right now when we go over this video. That's so I just got ran over by a horse. I'd like to point that out. But I'm okay. I'm a dwarf. I can take it. Those are the things you're going to have to think about as you're going through the Lord of the Rings online and as you're leveling, okay? So now that you know that, let's continue part 3 of choosing your leveling path effectively. Again, if you want to see my other 2 previous ones that I made that were more recent than my choosing effectively one from a year ago, I will link those in the description too for you. But let's go ahead and talk from level 50 onwards. So again, now the LOTRO wiki, I will link this too in the description. It is fantastic. It is wonderful. That's so bright, so much white going on. I did turn on dark mode or something. I don't think that wiki can do that though. For this particular version. So we're going to talk about then starting at level 50 onwards, okay? So at level 50, you have, you should have just finished, if you watched my other video, you would have been done with Angmar, with the quests in either Angmar or there are some quests in Evandin, but pretty much it's like Forachel, Angmar, the Misty Mountains, Rivendell, and then I believe at this point you're going to be going to a region. It depends on how you like to say it. I've heard it said both ways, this name. But basically, this is the next place you're going to go. So the chapter quest is going to lead you first to, I believe, it may just pull you directly, either it leads you here from what I remember, or it pulls you directly to Dunland. And there is a dwarf you're going to talk to, and I forget if they even lead you there. See, this is where the gap is, which is a little hard with this chapter quest. So when you're done with Rivendell or Misty Mountains or something, you're level 50, you finish those chapters. Now you need to get into Moria, because Moria is from level 50 to 60, okay? That's a lot of stuff in there, all right? That's what Mines of Moria. So what you need to do to get in there is you need to go and accept the quest at the front gate. So you go to Encharn-Dunen in a region. You can get there if you have to walk. If you're not taking a horse or something, you can walk through Trollshaws to get there. You can also, I believe, now walk there from the Edaway. Yeah, Edaway. There's a couple ways you can get in. You can even go from Swanfleet and just walk across. But remember, Swanfleet's really low level. So if you're level 10 or something in Swanfleet, you shouldn't be going to Moria yet. So basically, you come into here, you go and you could start here. If you aren't max level 50 yet, and you don't want to go into Moria, you're level, let's say 49, 48, you need some more XP, you don't really want to go to Forachel, you don't really want to do the Misty Mountains or something, it's totally fine, you could skip that. You can come here, it's a very beautiful place to quest, you start up here, do some quests for them at this one, and then they're gonna finish, they'll lead you, have a lead quest they'll send you, there's always a lead quest. So they do this when it's past the 50 areas, it's very nice. Whenever you finish an area, the last quest it gives you will be a quest to go to talk to someone else in another location, even if it's not the main chapter quest. So, 2 things to remember then. The main chapter quest will usually have you do something in an area, lead you to a new area. So it'll guide you. But when you complete an area, a lot when it's the newer areas past Eriador's, when you're finished with all the quests, you want to always accept as many quests as you can. Now, which is wonderful at the time of making this video, you can have up to 10 quests on your tracker, which is nice, which means pretty much every location you go, you can have your chapter quest up, and you can pick up 8 or 7 quests or whatever it is, do them all, bring them all back and turn them all in. The reason why I say try to complete them all, don't just go and do one and turn it in, go and do one and turn it in. A lot of times the way they do it is when you go out to do quests, they'll have a bunch of quests in a similar area, like pick up some wood, beat these bandits, blah, blah, blah. They'll all be in the same spot. When you go and turn those all in, they'll all give you like a secondary quest sometimes, and then they'll all tell you to do 3 quests at another location, okay? So you don't want to go just do one and go back, because then what happens? You have to go back, and then you have to go over there, and then you go back, and you're going to waste your time. So if you're going to be efficient about it, take all the quests, pick them all up, every single quest in the area, that is for questing in the area. Make sure it's not like a crafting quest or something. Sometimes those are like, you don't need to do those really. Or if it's a repeatable quest, you don't always have to do those. They will give you experience, obviously. But again, in your little thing, you go in here and you can find out if it's a repeatable quest by turning this one off or on, right? So like missions, they're repeatables. Specials, right? Tasks, they're repeatables. Okay? Again, these filters are very handy. Use those, guys. Use those. They're really, really good. So then once you're in, once you've done that, make sure you do the area in a region or whatever, and then they will usually, you'll turn all the quests and they won't have any more, but one of the NPCs will give you a quest, and they'll say, go talk to blah, 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 in Encharn, blah, blah, yeah, the next place, all right? and Chad Arigian, right in the middle there. So then that you go out there, you'll do some quests for them, go around and do some quests there. And a lot of times you'll learn locations, and while you're doing that, you'll also be completing deeds, right? For doing the quests and finding locations and killing mobs. You'll be completing deeds to get your virtues done, which is also very important to be efficient. You want to be keeping up with your virtues if possible. I have a video on virtues if you want to watch that later, but I don't want to confuse you too much. We're just talking about leveling path effectively here. So then keep doing that. It's going to lead you to the next place. I don't know if you need to go over this city as much. Once you're level 50, that's where you need to get into Moria. So we're at the point of this part 3. We want to go into Moria, okay? So Enchardunin, go to the front door. There's a dwarf there. He's going to have you do a quest. They're going to make you do a quest in here in the walls of Moria. It's going to be like an instanced quest. What do I say about that? It's like you're in your own realm, okay? So like if you have another friend doing it at the same time as you and you're in the same party, you can be in there together. They'll let you be in there together, so you can both join, just like an instance. If you invite someone, they can come into the same instance as you. So once you do that, then it'll become in the world version of it, right? The reason they do instance locations for some things was main story quests like this from Moria, the main chapter, is they change the look of things, okay, right? And then when they're done changing the look of things, it's what everyone sees always after that, right? It's a nice little trick that MMOs do. I like it. I think it helps with storytelling. So once you're done, you get into Moria. Okay, now that we're in Moria, let's talk about Moria. Moria can be both straightforward and also very, very confusing. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about Moria is the fact that it's leveled, as in think about each region as levels, but at the same time, it's like this is the highest point in the place, and the waterworks and the foundations of stone are like in the dungeonous dark evilness. Okay, they're really, really low down there. So I'm going to remove all this, and I'm only going to leave stable masters for a reason and settlements. All right, that's because I want to show you some stuff. So where stable masters are, by the way, filters are up here if you want to know this. Usually where the stable masters are, those are the main like settlements where quests will be. Okay, this is a trick for people. Quests will sometimes be found randomly, but usually your main bulk of quests will be around the stable master, okay? It's a little trick, you know, that I've learned, but it's very nice. Now, yeah, pretty much. You'll usually have quests around stable masters. They try to make it nice. This game is huge, but it has great travel potential, okay? So that's the thing about LOTRO that's nice. They have milestones. Another thing you can also turn on is milestones. This works the same way. If you notice, guess what? Where are the milestones? All right next to the horse places, right? I like that they do that too. Again, the travel in this game is fantastic. You have a couple milestone skills. If you ever see them go on sale in the LOTRO store, you've earned a couple points up. Those are good things to spend your points on for travel. I would recommend having 2 or 3 on every character if you play that character a lot. Don't get it on a character if you don't play them a lot, but you know, you start with 1 though. So now you could travel around. So the Great Delving is where you're first going to start out, okay? So the Great Delving, I'm going to look at this real quick to make sure I'm not telling you the wrong information. Yeah, so we want to start with the Great Delving. That's going to be the first few levels. Once you go into the Great Delving, the chapter's going to lead you through, okay? They're going to kind of lead you through the process. So as you go through then, you're going to be pretty much sent to the Silvertine Lodes, I believe. Silver is where you go next, and then later it's going to send you to the 21st Hall, and then it'll send you up here to the Chambers of Crossroads, and you're going to be sent between Silver Lodes and that a little bit. There's a little back and forth from what I remember, and then you're going to go up to Durin's Way. You do some stuff up there, and then you'll be sent down in the Flames, and the Red Lodes will be another spot you're sent to later, and then a little bit in the Waterworks, and finally the Foundations of Stone, and then back to the 21st Hall. You go back to the 21st Hall a lot in Moria when you're choosing your path effectively. Again, just follow the chapter quest. There will be a little back and forth walking, okay, in Moria. That has happened, even if you're trying to be as efficient as possible. There's also a quest up here that'll send you out into Zirkok Ziggle, where the Belrog is laying there. Spoilers, but it's pretty cool to see it dead. Good little tourist location for LOTRO. But once you've done all that, they're going to lead you to Nun Melek, and then they will finally lead you out. Now, do you have to be level 60 when you leave Moria? Not necessarily, okay? You don't have to be level 60 because the next area, Lothlorien, let's go out. So now we're in Lothlorien and the Dimrill. The Dimrill is like level 58, 59, and Lorien is around level 60 with the quests they do in here. So by the time even if you haven't completed every quest, if you've done the chapters and you followed some of those areas in Moria as you go through, you will be getting plenty of levels. You would probably only need to do like 2/3 of the quests in Moria. Maybe just half with the chapter and killing things, and you're probably going to be max level, especially if you take breaks and you let your little blue bar, you know, recharge. That's only for VIPs though, I think, subscribers. But you can also get some of that respect with the Destiny points. If you guys don't know what that is, I'll show you real quick. You go to your wallet or this button up here at the top of the radar, or you can go to character wallet, go to perks right here, and it's this right here, experience acceleration. Except I am trying to remember off the top of my head right now for this video if you can use that as a non-VIP. I am not sure. Destiny points may only be, because it's kind of a convenience thing, it may only be for VIPs that can purchase it. I off the top of my head, you'll just have to double check me. All right, that's not a really hard thing for you to do. You can just click your wallet and see if you're not a VIP, can you open the perk button? And if you can you click this and say use? And you earn these Destiny points, I know though, all the time for leveling. Every character, it's a cumulative from your whole account on that server. Okay, so you get like 250 every time you level a character. I've got 96,000. I got a lot in the bank. So whatever character I'm on, I usually just use up, you can use 5 uses every, like, it recharges every like 12 hours, one of them. So just use a bunch of them ahead and just stack that up. Of course, I'm max level. I can't show you an example on this character, but you get the point. It's not that complicated. All right. So please leave your comments if you have questions too. I'm happy to answer them. So now if we go into back to Moria, so you're pretty much done with Moria. Then you're in Lothlorien. So then you do quests at the Mirror, which is where Durin saw the stars above his head during the death list, right when he first came here, which is kind of cool. Once you're done with that, you're gonna have to complete that chapter quest to even enter Lothlorien. Let me just warn you. Remember how I warned you about in that other video about Angmar? All right. So anyway, once you have finished with the Dimrill, you got to do a quest that will let you pass this area. Otherwise, if you just try to walk into Lothlorien, the elves will shoot you and you will just die. So you have to have completed a quest, just like I was saying previously with that Angmar location in the previous video. There's a spot up in Angmar when you're doing level 50 that you cannot cross these like demon statues without knowing something and learning something. Otherwise, they like attack your soul and you just die. Okay, so keep that in mind. The chapter quest, if you ever get to a spot where you're like, why am I just dying? It's because you haven't completed something with the chapter quest. So make sure you're continuing those. That's what's important. All right, after you do Lothlorien, it is off to Mirkwood. Now we're catching up to where my LOTRO Tale series is at the time of this video creation. Southern Mirkwood, all right? So Southern Mirkwood, again, follow the story. There will be a boat that you will cross from this location, a little boat, or the Sailmaster, or there's a boat you click. I think it might be the Sailmaster. And they will take you across there. I think it's, I can't decide if it's a boat or Sailmaster. I think it's a boat. You can watch my LOTRO Tale to see for sure if you want to see it. But we get to Mirkwood, you do some quests for them, you get the chapters, and you go to the Dowerstocks, you do some quests for them, you get some stuff done. And this is the Haunted Inn. And then you're gonna go over here to this one, and you're gonna do some quests for them. And you might have to go down here if you want to. You might not even have to. I think the chapter just continues you on all the way there. You might have to run down and do one thing in the swamp. But from what I remember, you might not even have to go do these areas. Okay, so again, this is at the point of the game where you're gonna be able to start skipping things, because guess what else is from level 60 to 65? All right, so this is the chapter for the Siege of Mirkwood, but also the Great River, I believe, is the Edowaith is also level 60 to 65. So if you're like, well, I know I need to get the chapter done, so you could just technically run through the chapter, but let's say you're still a little bit under leveled for the chapter. You're like level 59, right? You're like, oh, I'm still level 59, not quite 60, even though it's a 60 area, or you're over here and you're level 61 or something, and this is kind of like high level for you to get these chapter quests done. You could say, I don't want to quest in Southern Mirkwood, right? You could be like, if I want to choose my questing path effectively, I could go back over here and go down to Edowaith, which is south of Aragian, right? You go down here and you could start questing over here. You could literally just walk into this town and pick up a quest. Now, another thing that's very helpful in the Lord of the Rings Online to help you walk you through the path is it will occasionally, when you hit a certain level for a certain area, you'll get something in the mail, or a quest will pop up on your automatic questing. Like, see this quest up here? This little ring thing? So this one is popping up because I have a festival thing. So I can click this, right? And it brings up a quest here, and I can be like, oh, you know, Midsummer's Day approaches. Cool. People of Middle Earth are gathering the festival summer. Sweet. Boom. And then you click it again to accept it, and look, it even gives me a map to get there, right? There's also that same thing will happen with when you hit certain levels sometimes. There'll be a quest that'll pop up there, and it'll lead you somewhere. So keep an eye on that. That's always important. But a big one is your mailbox. When your mailbox, a little mail icon shows up, you're like, oh, I have mail. And you click on it a lot of times, like, I think you hit level like 90 or something, or, there's a mail. Oh, go to Southern Gondor, go to Dolamroth, go to blah, blah. So there's ways to get you there too, besides help you choose your path effectively. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. To help you choose your path effectively. So the next thing that's important then, so if you choose to go to Edowaith, right, to do your questing, which is very cool and has one of the coolest raids up here in the mountains where this milestone is. There's a dragon raid up there, and it is freaking awesome, okay? Really, Nar's Peak. There's also a cool story about some dwarves in here, and there's also some, like, kind of hobbits. They're not quite there. They're, like, less civilized, monstrous hobbits. They, like, attack you. So they're a little bit different. It's kind of a cool take on things. But, yeah. So anyway, I know this is not where Gollum lived. He lived on the other side of the Misty Mountains originally from his people. So these are not them. Just a little side note. So then you can go from there. You can go to, so if you're level 65, the next place you have to go to is Dunland. All right. So Dunland is to the south of Edowaith. So again, if you're in South Mirkwood, you can go finish those chapter quests if you want. But really, you can probably skip them entirely because a lot of times those chapter quests are started from those mail things that I sent you to. Or they'll send you to the person that gives you the quest, okay? To start the chapter quest. Also, another little nice thing, if you're having troubles and you want to find something, this little LOTRO wiki, right, that I've talked about, can actually, if you want to find something, like let's say book 11, right? Chapter, if you click these little things, they will take you to another wiki page. It'll actually show you like where to find, where to find them, right? The quests and the locations. And they'll even sometimes give you the exact NPC, and that's showing you the different locations. But if you need to find the exact quest, you could say, book 9 and search it, right? And find it. So it's really helpful, really nice. So now that we're in Dunland, all right, so choosing your path effectively, again, we're going to go to, for this video, we're going to go up to level 85. And then I will continue on for a fourth video later on. So I don't want to make them too long. I want you to be able to enjoy and be helpful, but be able to focus still. All right, so, there we go. I'm like, what's going on here? All right, so Dunland, all right, we have Dunland, and we can click Dunland. So this is the area of Dunland. It also has in it the Gap of Rohan and Isengard. So this whole location is where you're going to be doing the chapter quests to kind of start the Rohan quests or leading you into them. And you're going to be working a lot with the Dunlendings. So there are good ones, which is cool, right? There's different tribes. Some of them have aligned with Saruman. Some of them are not, and they're not evil and are actually like Rohan or, or at least neutral to them. They don't have anything against them. So again, Galtrev is the pretty much main city, but you're going to do the same thing. You're going to be going through wherever the horses are, pretty much in milestones. That's going to be where you're going to be thinking of your quests. The chapter will lead you through, and also, of course, and again, the chapter you'll be going through is, it says it in this LOTRO wiki. So it says you'll be doing these kind of things, different areas, right? Areas and locations in those areas is what they're saying. But they also show you books you're doing and stuff like in Angmar and things. So it's kind of cool. They show you some extra stuff on this wiki thing. It's really nice. Again, I'll link it down there for you. So once you're going through this, you'll go through and basically you don't have to do everything. It's up to you. Sometimes you can just skip and go to a different town. You don't always have to have that continuous quest. So usually towns will send you with their last quest will be, oh, go talk to blah, blah, blah at Starkmoor once you finish Galtrev or something. You don't always have to have that quest. Sometimes if you're just way higher level, you're like 2 levels up and you're like, I don't want to do all these. I want to finish the chapter. You just run to Starkmoor or wherever the chapter leads you and then just do some quests there. It's up to you. Remember, some quests do open other quests, but usually the only ones you really have to worry about with that are the chapters and books and epilogues, volumes. Those are the ones you have to worry about because you need to continue. You need to get to the next ones by finishing the ones, most of them. Sometimes a new volume will open just at a certain location, but usually you have to finish one area to get another one. But also usually you can accept every volume within itself. But if you really want to do the story and be led through it, you should be trying to do them in order to the best of your ability. Where questing in normal regions, you can just skip some things and move on, right? That kind of stuff. So the next stuff, once you're level around 71, if you don't want to stay in Dunland for the whole level 70, 65, no, it's Dunland is 66 to 75, okay? So the Edawaith and Mirkwood, Southern Mirkwood are 60 to 65. This would be 66 to 75. But if you don't want to be here for the whole duration, you could always go to the Great River, which is 71 to level 75, right? They kind of overlap a little bit, which again is wonderful. It gives you refreshing things you could do on different characters, right? So if you go down here, the Great River, it's just south of Lothlorien. So if you just finished Mirkwood and you didn't go to the Edawaith, and you're level 70 something, you can go straight into the Great River if you wanted to region, which is really cool. You can kind of see Easterling influence here next to, and kind of Rohan influence. And then at that point, when you're done with the Great River, it's very self-explanatory. You just kind of go through again if I clear the thing and show you all these, you just go through some of the towns here as you go. Then once you hit level 75, you're going to go to East Rohan, all right? East Rohan is level 75 to 85, all right? So this is basically going to be all your questing for those levels. There's not really a lot of options with your choices here. So the Wildermorth or to the Wold, all right, we'll go down there. We're in the Wold. Basically, this is where you're going to go into it, okay? So this is, if we open up East, by the way, I'm right-clicking to go up, and I'm left-clicking on where these circles are to zoom in. If you need help with that on the map to find things, okay, zoom in. I have a video on how to use the map, but we want just East Rohan. So in fact, another thing you could do is you can go up to these filters up here, show map. You can go to Rovanian, which I think East Rohan is in, technically. West. Where is East? East Rohan. Okay. East. Here's all the East Rohan. East Rohan, the Wold. Okay. So we're just looking at. Sweet. So to the Wildermore, you could do Wildermore. I'm forgetting what levels Wildermore is at. Wildermore is level 85. So this is a higher level area. So don't go up there until you're done with back to the Wold. And then to the east wall, it says down there at the bottom. Usually you can move around like up, down, left, right by clicking those. Or clicking on the towns if you want to go in to see a map of a town. This is where you will now get your war mount. This is very important for this level. This is where war mounts were added, okay? So this is kind of an important point. I should have said this a minute ago. But this is where you're going to get your war mount right there. You're going to get this, how you're going to start your war mount. So really, you're going to start your war mount around level 85. That's when you can kind of get your mount. It's pretty awesome. Then to the Wold, it's kind of fun to use. They're fixing all the lag problems, so we'll probably have less rubber banding on the war mounts like they used to. So then to the east, there's some stuff over here you can do to Norcroft. There's some towns up here. You're going to hit all these towns, get all these towns done. To the Entwash Vale, there's some stuff you can do in here. This goes up to Fangorn Forest, but Fangorn Forest is going to be actually past level 85, I believe. So I don't remember exactly the quest in Fangorn Forest. So go to Scruff. Snowborn, this is the town, it's kind of the main town of East Rohan. This is what you're going to have to be doing, basically, in these areas, all these towns, all right? So town, that's 6. There's an encampment here, 7. Parth Gallon, this is where the fellowship broke up, right? By the Argonath. Beautiful area, it's gorgeous. Amenhen, they're so cool. And then the Wold, that's where you're going to come in. So you're going to kind of just go through the Wold, the east, to Norcroft. All right, do these ones, which are kind of like, they're more like the mountainous Rohirrim. They live in the mountains, the pine trees. It's kind of cool. They're like they're the lumberjacks of Rohan. And then you go down the Scuffolds. Now we're getting to more like Rohirrim, the fields. Again, they're still near the mountains. So anyway, it's pretty fun, pretty cool. So by this point, you're gonna be around level 85. If you're not, that's okay. You could always go back and do a couple review things. You could always run a couple instances. In fact, there's a good instance to give you XP if you ever want to run. It's not as much as it used to be, but it's called the Warg Pens instance. You can run it really quickly it's like a 3-man, I believe, and their quest completion is very easy to do, and it gives you a lot of XP while you do it. But it's not as much anymore. But that's a good way if you just need to get a little bit more XP. You're just having troubles. Finding the right area to get a quest done. You can always just go run a couple instances a few times with an XP boost thing if you earned it on the store or something, and that'll help you out. That'll get you that XP you need to finish up things. So anyway, my friends, that is part 3 of choosing your path and leveling effectively. And again, I will link the 2 more recent videos. Again, if you watched my original video of choosing from a year ago, you guys love that video. I'm so glad you love that video. But we are, me and Zollin, being the same person. We're glad to help. You guys have a great and wonderful day in Middle-earth. I hope you will like and subscribe to the video. It'll help me out a lot. And I really enjoy doing this content. We do other Lord of the Rings stuff too on this channel. But I love LOTRO. And I hope to help others as much as I can. The game is growing right now, and I think it'll be around for many more years. And it is really a great game, great community, and I hope to make a really good community here on Voice of the Rings too. So if that sounds good to you, subscribe, join us, my friends. It's free. It's right there. Thank you so much to my Patreons for their support. If you want to support me in that way, links are down there. I really greatly appreciate that too. And over there is that. And if you go to any of my live streams, you can join our Discord. There's always a link to all my newest live stream. They last for a week. Whatever newest live stream there is, just wait for one. There will be a link there to my Discord. Patreons get full access to it, but you can still join it and be in our Kinship chat. And you're welcome to join our Kinship on the server CrickHollow if you are fans of that. So if you're on CrickHollow, you're welcome. And if you're from any server, you're welcome on the channel, of course. And I'll see you guys all in the next episodes. Up there is next to these guides, and over there is where I do voiceovers in Lord of the Rings Online. Kuzan, I meant you. Have a great and wonderful day in Middle-earth, and we'll see you all in the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. See ya. Got ran over by a horse again. Great.